Hey guys, welcome. And let's start with the Python. And I think you have gone through the Python introduction. And so I'm going to talk about how you can start with the Python. So let's start. Go to Anaconda Navigator and press it. It will take some time. And meanwhile, I'll just share my desktop. Yeah. Okay. So you can see right now I have opened the Anaconda Navigator. If you have not downloaded it, you can download it from Anaconda website. And after that, well, once you open that navigator, you will find there are a lot of IDs available for the Python. And one good thing is you don't have to download each ID's like extensively. You can directly download Anaconda, and Anaconda will provide you all the different IDs available. So we're going to work with the Jupyter. So Jupyter is a kind of notebook, the Python notebook, and we'll see that how it generally works. There's one video how to get started with the basic of Python and how you can start with the Jupyter. So let's start with the Python. Okay, let's start. Okay, let's come to the Python bootcamp. Okay. Okay, so let's start, and so you can download it from the GitHub link, which is available there. And once you will download, you will can keep all these Jupyter files, and even I have posted into an HTML format, so you can look into it. And when you see that HTML format, you can load it. When you will just right click on it, it will open into a browser. So whichever system you are using. So let's start with the basics of Python. And if you are familiar with any other programming language before, or even if you are not familiar with any programming language before, and any programming language like C, C++, Java, or any other programming language, I'll start with the very basic. If you are familiar, you can easily relate with the whatever basics I'm talking about the Python. Okay, so the basics of Python is in high-level dynamically typed multi-paradigm programming language, and it's also Python code is often said as like a pseudo code since it allows you to express your powerful ideas in a very few lines of code. So it's a very easy learning curve Python provides you, and someone who is very new to the programming world can easily learn Python. So that's a very good thing about Python. So let's quickly go into that. If you're not familiar with the Jupyter kind of Jupyter notebook, once you open it, you can see that this kind of cells it's provide, and where you can select whether you want to have a code or whether you want to have a markdown. So what does the markdown mean? Markdown is kind of a comment. So all these things has been written in markdown. So once you run it, it will kind of show you the text only. But you want to execute some code like Python code, then you select this code and it will work as a code. And right now, if I'll just click run, you can see that it will provide you the output. So let's start with the basics of Python and the fundamental of any programming language. Generally starts with the basics of the data types and what are the types available. And let's start with the basic Python data types. And Python provides you the basics data types and also the data structure which it has. Also some of the advanced data structure also provides, which we are going to talk about later on. So let's start with the basics of the Python and the data types which Python provides. So right now we have integer, float, and the Boolean. So integers are the data type which is numeric in nature, but there is no decimal numbers after that. If we compare to the float, float has the data types which is available, which is integer in number, which is having decimals with them. And Boolean is a kind of true or false flag kind of thing. A Boolean data type is there. So let's start, and once we'll click this. So right now I have defined x is equal to 1. So right now I'm not declaring it as a data type. Right now I'm just assigning x as a variable and I'm assigning a value to it. So when you assign a value to any data type, Python automatically take that type. So let's see that. Right now, define x is equal to 1, and what is the data type? It's integer. So once I'll define a float kind of data type, and if I run the same variable x I have defined with the float, and you can see that it has automatically taken as a float. Let's come to the Boolean part. So right now I'm defining B1 as a true, it's a Boolean type. B2 also I'm defining as a false. If I can change it right now, you can see that if I run it, it is also a Boolean data type. But right now when I change the B1 as 20, you can see that it has changed to integer. So that is, we can see that it is dynamically typed. We don't have to explicitly define the data type of any variable in Python. Okay, let's coming to another data type which we have a string. Generally also as a type of list. We'll cover about list in the next videos and next topic. So strings are the literals, can be defined using the single quotes, double quotes, or triple quotes. So you can see that we can define any uh, any any uh, uh, any word or any string we can define under triple quotes, double quotes, and single quote. It will take as automatically take as a string. So you can see that right now defined a string as your name, and it will take as a string. If I'm defining any data type as any string like path to AI, and it will take as a string. And if I just want to print it, you can see that it will automatically print it to me. But how if I want to have a string into multiple lines? Let's, for example, let's define it like I want to have something. How are you? Okay, this is the string I am defined, and if I'll run it, I'll get the output. So how are you? I'm getting it. But if I want to have another line like something like this, how are you? And there's an answer, I am fine. If you just try to do that, you'll see it's not even coming into a string. But if you want to have something into like multiple lines kind of string, then the triple quotes will help you to do that. Yeah. So if you run it, see, slash n has come because of the new line character. So that's how you can define multiple lines. Also, you can define your string. Coming to the another data type which is not being heavily being used, but if you are going to use for some computation and the scientific calculation, then another good data type which is there is complex. Complex is a kind of complex numbers when we have a real number and an imaginary part. So that's all. When you define it as a complex variable, you can take the imaginary part and you can take the real part from that. So real part and imaginary part can be taken from that. Okay, so we have defined variable so far, and that's the kind of variable is just like you can see you have a bound where you have different numbers or different things it's there into your bound. So what kind of data type you are providing to that bound, it will take that value. So if in the bound you're providing cereal, it will become a cereal bound. So in that, if you're providing milk, it will become a milk bound. So this actually the concept of variables comes into the place. They're actually defining what is the data type of kind of material you are holding into that variable. So that defines its property. So this is pretty simple, and you can do the part and you can play with them, and you can see that I'm defining 10 into a variable, and when I'm changing its value, you can see that string. It has automatically when I'm putting something into that variable, it is changing its data type to that exactly. Strong typing. So it's not a strong typing. What does that mean? So if I'm defining a string and I'm doing an operation like +1, so you can see that I can't do this operation. Why? Because it's day1 is a string type and 1 is an int type. When I'm trying to convert, add them together, it is not going to happen. Now, what So beautifully, Python has provided us the different libraries which we have. So if I want to convert integer into a string or string into an integer, I can do it through the functions. And the functions are easily available with a similar name. So if I want to convert one, which is string, into a string, I just need to pass a string number. So let's do it in this way. Like one is a string, right? And I want to append. So if I want to add two string into Python, I can just do the string function, but that has to be in another string, like 1 and 2. 1 and 2. If I want to give some space in that between, like this space has given, so it can append if I want to have something like this. Okay, there's some error. Okay, there's another. We have added one more. Okay, you can see that. Now when I'm trying to do 1 plus 2 plus 1, okay, it will giving me an error. So that I cannot move forward with that. So for that I have to convert that int into a string. Now if I see that, okay, now I'm able to append. How beautifully it has done this. So if I'm doing this like 2, so 2 is actually a string character here. So that's how I can append it into a string. Yes, this cell has got appended. So right now, if I want to append like this, today is Monday and this date is there 27, and I want to make it a date like 27 dash the Monday, I can easily append them together. So there are different Boolean expressions also there. We have like Boolean expressions, and we have these operations like AND operation, OR operations, not is. So that kind of operations is also available and easily can be done in Python. And just using by AND or NOT function, we can do that. So like true and false. If I do OR AND operation on that, it will automatically give me false. Like 1 0, it will automatically give me 0, and that way OR will give us true, and not true is an opposite of true, and not false is an opposite. So it's there. So true is true, or A is A. So these are the kind of operations which is easily available. These are the operations are easily available in this.